and I forgot about it. There we go. All right, so let's go get to know CoughDrop. Give me a second. We'll get right back into the screen. I know you already saw it, but here we go one more time. So when you come into CoughDrop, you can either enter through the app downloaded on a device. So you can download the app on, I don't know, an iPad or an Android tablet, a Kindle, a Chromebook. If you have a Windows Chromebook, you can use the Windows app. And there are some other Windows devices where you can also download the Windows app. But anyway, you can download an app and log in there, or you can always come in through the website at mycoughDrop.com. So even if you're having trouble, we've had a couple of people that have had a hard time on, you know, like maybe an off-brand tablet or something, they have a hard time locating the app. You can always come in through the website at mycoughDrop.com as well. And that's where we are right now. But this is how you can jump in. So when you first come to the website or into the app, you're going to want to log in. When you haven't created an account yet, that will actually have to be done through the website. So as you create an account, or as the parents or the communicators that you're working with, as you have them create an account, just keep in mind that has to be done through the website, not the app. The app will let you access a program once your account has been created. But if the account hasn't been created yet, that'll need to be done through the website. So you just come to mycoughDrop.com and you're going to tell the program that you want to register. And then it's going to give you the option to create a username and password. We're just going to go ahead and do this. And we'll just make it practice account 1. And oh no, now you'll know my email. Just kidding, because you can also send me an email if you need to. So whatever. When you are adding an email address to this account, this is not so that we can send you spam or try to get you to purchase additional things. The real point of having the email is that when you send a support ticket from within the account, that way we know who to respond to. Also, if there are ever any big issues, for example, Apple after a little while will stop supporting some of their operating systems. So like for example, pretty quick here, iPad 2s, which are kind of old anyway, they're pretty old anyway, but they will not be able to use not just CoughDrop, but a lot of other apps, probably with the next update or two from Apple, because Apple is no longer supporting some of the options that are on there. So when things like that happen, sometimes we'll reach out to your email and say, just so you know, this is going to be happening, but we just want you to be aware. Anyway, so you enter whatever information here that you would like for your account. You can check an account type. For your communicators, you're probably going to want to choose Communicator or a parent and Communicator. You as a supervisor, as someone who's supervising an account, will maybe want to choose a teacher or a therapist, whatever you are. There is a minor difference between a supervisor account and a communicator account. And we'll look at that here in just a minute, but just be aware of that, so that if you have a student sign up, you're not going to want to have them say that they're a supervisor or a therapist or whatever. You're going to want them to choose that they're a communicator or a communicator and parent, something like that. When you create an account, you can choose to anonymously share usage data with CoughDrop. This is something that obviously you can opt into. It's anonymized data that just lets a group of therapists have access to the most commonly used words, word combinations, some things like that. So it doesn't link back to a specific user, but it's used in a lot of therapy research and things like that. So that's an option that's available. If you want to check that, great. And if you don't, that's also great. Anyway, then you do need to read the terms and agree to that. And then you can sign up for an account.
You just download it?
Say that one more time.
Oh, shoot.
Okay, that's okay. Yeah, you know, this happens in Zoom meetings. It's half the fun of meetings. And instead of now meeting in a room and you get to kind of chat with your friends at the back of the room, now you get to sort of do it online. So you can have a chat box or maybe kind of share a message back and forth. But anyway, if you have questions or concerns or whatever, let me know. Just jump in and we'll get you going. Anyway, when you first register for an account, you're going to have some options come up that you can purchase an account. Feel free to do that if they want to, but you can also start with a 2-month free trial. Anybody's welcome to have a trial of the account. And you guys, as you, oh, hold on, be quiet, stop talking. You guys as supporters that are linked to an organization will actually have access to a free supporter account. So you don't have to worry about purchasing anything. You'll have that all available to you. So once you've selected that you want to start with a free trial, or if your communicator decided to purchase it on their own or whatever, you'll automatically be brought to this walkthrough that'll kind of help you set up some basic functions within CoughDrop. You can kind of decide some of the preferences that you like, or the way that you want things to look, whether you want text or no text on pictures, if you want background colors that are a certain color, or if you want to use a switch or eye gaze, it'll automatically help you set some of those kinds of things up. You can choose a voice when you first get started, one that will work well for you, and just make some decisions relating to your account. At any point, you can hit this CoughDrop icon in the top corner to be taken to your dashboard page. That'll work from anywhere within the account. Anytime you see that CoughDrop icon in the top corner, that'll bring you straight to your dashboard page. So it's just kind of a quick, easy way to maneuver around the program. So this is a brand new account that's just created. There's really not a lot in here yet. One of the first things that you'll probably want to do with communicators is to assign a home board for them. That's the main board that they'll be using within the program. You can go to this boards option and kind of peruse some of the suggested boards. There are a few options of it up here. There are suggested boards. If this wasn't a brand new account, it would show me some of my boards that I had created. These are some community boards that are available. And then if I had already been in the program and had used some, it would show me the most recent boards that I'd used, but those don't exist right now because I just barely created this account. So let's pretend like this particular account is going to want a core vocabulary, and we're going to do the smaller version of a core vocabulary for him. You can hit on this eye icon in the corner and it'll show you a preview of what that board kind of looks like. Hold on, let me move a talk box out of it. There we go. Same thing here. If I want to go to this quick core, this is a little bit bigger core vocabulary option. This particular board has about 2,000 words and they're all available in 1 to 3 button presses. And then we have our largest core vocabulary option. This has got about 4,500 words and everything's available in 1 to 2 presses. So you'll find something that's going to be appropriate for your communicator. We're going to pretend like this Core 24 board is the board that we want for this particular student. That looks great. I like the board. It's got 600 words available. That's awesome. So I'm going to come to the board actions page. This is where I could make adjustments and changes and alterations to the board when the board is my board. We talked about this a little bit in the training last time. You can always tell the owner of a board by looking at the board name at the top of the page. So this particular board happens to be owned by Example, which is most CoughDrop owned boards are owned by Example. It just means it's a CoughDrop board. Now, if I love this board and I want to be able to make changes, if I go to edit this board right now, the program's going to tell me this is not your board. You're not allowed to edit it. So I can't have that. I can choose to make a copy here, but I also can come to this drop-down menu under More and decide that I want to make a copy for my account. I can change the name of the board if I want. So maybe I want to make this called Practice Home Board. And I can make the adjustments there if I need to. I can make this board public if I want to. CoughDrop has a library of publicly shared boards that you can search and that different people have shared. So there are things in there like, I don't know, there's a piano board where when you tap the buttons, it makes the piano sound dun, 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 you know, just like a scale, and you can make music with it. Or there are boards for the Olympics or for the Super Bowl. I can't think. There's Star Wars boards and Harry Potter, there's a Dungeons and Dragons boards, just kind of all kinds of things that are in there. So you may, before you delve too deeply into making something brand new of your own, you might want to do a quick search and see if somebody else already kind of put something together. And even if it's not perfect, you can make a copy of a public board and then tweak it to fit your needs. Anyway, so this board, this Quick Core 24, we're going to rename it Practice Home Board. I don't really want it to be public because I'm going to customize it to fit this person's need. I also can choose to translate the board into a different language if I want to. So if I check that box, I can then choose a language that I want to translate the board into. While there are a ton of languages available for translation, you'll want to make sure that there is a voice available for that particular language before you'll know for sure if this will be a good option. So most commonly used languages, there's going to be a voice and it won't be an issue. But if you have kind of a less common or a more colloquial or localized voice, or excuse me, localized language, that there may not be a voice available. So that's just one thing to be aware of. Anyway, I'm going to tell the program, go ahead and make a copy of this particular board. This could take a few minutes because it's kind of a big board set. So we're just going to kind of let it do its thing. But while it's doing that, let's go into, oh, go away. Sorry, there we are. I'm just going to go into another, oh, I forgot to do my at the beginning. We're going to come and log into my particular account. While that is thinking, we talked a little bit about last time how you guys will most likely be supervisors of these student accounts that you'll be working with. You'll notice, oh, I can't show you just yet because that copy is still going. Oh, just kidding, it's done. All right. On a student account, you'll see that at the top, there are the options action, boards, and updates. The actions are things that you can kind of do, modeling ideas, you can create a board in here, things like that. However, in the Supervisor version, there's a button for communicators, and this will show the communicators that you have been assigned to Supervisor, that you've been linked to as a supervisor within your account. If I want to link to someone as a supervisor, that needs to be done within their account. For privacy reasons, I can't just force myself as a supervisor onto somebody, because the supervisor does have access to speech boards and settings and logs and history for the person. So we want to make sure that we maintain that privacy. But if this practice account decides that, hey, I want Melissa to be able to be my supervisor, you can come to their account page. Oh, let's go back because I forgot to show you that. Anytime you hit your user icon here, that will take you straight to your account page. But let's go back to the dashboard, because you can also get there through this drop-down menu. This drop-down menu is a great place to go for whatever you're looking for. It's most likely within that particular menu, but we're going to go to the account page here, and I want to add a supervisor for this brand new user. And I'm going to say, yes, let's add a supervisor for this person. I'm going to put in my normal supervisor account. And then this is kind of an important piece. You want to make sure that if you want this supervisor to be able to modify boards and settings for this person, check that box. This happens not often, but often enough that I worry that people will kind of miss it. That if you do not check this box, the supervisor will be kind of a view-only supervisor. They'll be able to view the account for the student, see their reports, see their logs, but they would not be able to edit the boards, make adjustments to buttons, or change the settings, those kinds of things. So you'll just want to make sure that you check that box for those that should have the ability to modify those. Anyway, and then we're going to hit Add Supervisor for this student. And this will help to link them to that supervisor account, so that when a supervisor logs in later on, you can see now if I come to the supervisors tab, it's going to show me that, yep, I have one supervisor and it's me. I'm supervising me. Great. If you ever want to delete a supervisor from an account, that person, maybe that therapist or that teacher doesn't work with this student anymore, you can come and hit the trash can icon here. That won't actually remove, it doesn't delete the supervisor's account. It just removes the connection between the two accounts. So the student account and the supervisor's account both still exist and they're available, but they are no longer connected together. So I'm actually going to close out this one because I don't think we'll need that one anymore. When I come back into mine, you'll notice that I don't see that practice just yet. A lot of times when changes are made really quickly, I need to reload my account in order to see that update show up. And there he is right there, or she is. that Practice One account is now linked to my account as a supervisee that I oversee. And if I want, I can hit their icon here and come to their user page, their account page, and see some information about that. So there's that copy of the board that we made before. They don't have anything set as a home board, so that might be an adjustment we want to make within their account. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. I'm actually going to open this Practice Home Board, and we're going to go to the board actions page, and we're going to tell the program that we want this to be the home board for that practice account. So under this drop-down menu with more, we are going to tell the program that we want to set this board as a home board. Now remember, I am logged into my account, not to the student account. So the program's going to ask me, okay, you want this to be somebody's home board, but you work with a whole bunch of people. Whose home board do you want this to be? And I'm just going to tap on their account information, and I'm going to tell the program set that as the home board for that particular student. It says, great, that's their home board now. We can go check it out if we want. Sure enough, instead of saying no home board, the program's now telling me that the Practice home board is there and available for that particular student as their home board. So anytime you have a board that you like within the account, we talked about several different boards. Let's just, I don't know, let's go look for a Harry Potter. I know there's one in here somewhere. Yeah, there we go. So let's pretend your student just absolutely loves Harry Potter. Maybe you want to have a copy of this particular Harry Potter home board. It's a public account. Anybody can access this. But if I want to tweak it and adjust it, I'm not going to be able to do that unless I'm the owner of the board. So you can come and make yourself a copy of that board set, and then it would be owned by your account. So the owner of the board will show up right here in the board name. And once you own that board, or once your student's account owns that board, then they'll be able to adjust and tweak and edit that. And it's the same thing when you make a copy, just like setting something as a home board. I can say, okay, I want to make a copy of this board, and the program will say, who do you want to make a copy for? Which of these accounts? So I can say, let's make a copy for this Practice account. I don't want it to be public. I don't want to translate it into another language. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a copy of this particular board for my student's account so that the student can then access that board and be able to use it as they deem appropriate. I hope that kind of makes sense. Within CoughDrop, there are two options. You can share boards or you can copy boards. A shared board kind of behaves like a Google Doc, where it's one board shared between multiple accounts. Everybody can come in and look at it, but changes made by one person will also show up for the other people because it's one board that everybody's looking at. So that's a shared board. But you can also choose to make a copy of a board where you give an account their own version, their own copy of that particular board. So we've now copied this Harry Potter board, and you'll notice that the username here now says Practice One because this board belongs to the Practice One account. They now have their own copy of that board. So let's go back to the dashboard here, and we're going to go into the Practice One's page, and we're going to see, okay, under mine, they now have not just their home board, but they also have a Harry Potter board that's available for them to use within the program. Maybe they absolutely love Harry Potter, and so we know these are words they're going to want to access all the time. That might be a time that we want to add this particular board to our student's sidebar. Let's look at that real quick, actually, before we go too much further. By hitting on the I link, the little I icon, you'll open the board to be able to edit it and make adjustments. But if you hit on the board preview itself, it will take you straight into speak mode for that particular board. So we are now in speak mode for this board. I know that I'm speaking for myself because I can see my user icon here, but I can come and tell it, I want to switch communicators. I want to speak for Practice. And so now you'll see his user icon here or her user icon here, and I'm still on that same Practice board. The sidebar happens to be this little section that you can activate, and it has some additional settings, some additional options here. So let's pretend that I have some social things I want to say. I could hit that social board and come in and say some things here. Maybe I want to really quickly say, how are you? How are things going? Or maybe I just need a quick yes, no board to be able to go back and forth with somebody about something. But this sidebar, you can tweak and adjust to fit your specific needs. So let's pretend that practice 1 is an account that really just super needs to be able to regularly reach these Harry Potter words. So we're going to come to the board actions page, and we're going to tell the program that we want to add this particular board to a sidebar. And just like we've done before, it's going to give us the chance to rename the board if we want. And then we can choose who we want this board to be for within our account. So I'm going to choose that I want this added to the sidebar for the practice 1 account. And I'll tell the program to go ahead and add that to the sidebar. Now, when I go into speak mode, we're going to speak as practice 1. And you have that sidebar here, and you'll notice that Harry Potter board is now available for the sidebar account. So that's accessible when he's in speak mode, no matter what board he's on. So we can go back to the side, his normal home board that we've assigned, but maybe he wants to talk about Harry Potter. He can access that really quickly from that sidebar and pull up the things that he wants to talk about there. So it's a great place to add things that maybe you don't want them to disrupt your regular vocabulary set, but you want them to be accessible. Maybe a good place to put a board of family members' names or favorite activities, favorite toys, things to order at a restaurant, favorite restaurants to choose from. You know, some of those kinds of things might be great things to add to your sidebar. If you have a student that likes a particular kind of let's go search for our piano board. If they like a particular kind of activity, if they love books, we have some boards that will link to online books, and that might be something that you want to do for your student. Oh, what did I do? Got this menu blocking my view, so I can't really see what I'm doing. Oh, because I hit the wrong button. That was silly. There we go. So we'll go to this piano board, and I'm going to go to speak mode. We'll just go in for me. And this particular board happens to just have some audio files that are saved on the buttons. You can do this for all kinds of things. That we have a board that has animal sounds. There are boards with, like, I don't know, common sounds like a cough and a laugh and a sigh, those kinds of things. You can find all kinds of boards in here, but whatever it is that your communicator or your student is looking for, we can help you try to make that happen. There are a lot of boards that, let's see, I think I have the core vocabulary books board, if I remember right. And there's a bad search because it's too broad. And I have none. Awesome. Okay. Not that I want to take a whole ton of time showing you all the different boards that are available, but there are a lot of different things that might be a good fit for different students. So this core vocabulary books board will link to some online books. So you can, let's pick a favorite core vocabulary word. How about choose? And the program will automatically open this book that will help to read the book. The way you have it set up, it may read the pages for you, or it may leave them for you to read out loud. It just kind of depends on how you have things set. But that's another option that you can choose within the program. Okay, moving on. When you have a board that you've created, so let's go back to our practice friend that we've been working with, and we know we made a copy of the board to have as his home board. Now maybe we want to tweak and adjust some things within his board. So we're going to come up here and hit edit board. And this edit mode is where I can make adjustments and changes to the board in whatever way I like. So we can drag buttons to a different spot. Yep, go ahead and swap those. Maybe we want to move things around. Yes, swap, sounds great. Maybe we want to change the color. If we hit the paint option, we can make the whole board pink, or at least that line pink if we want. By default, the program uses a modified Fitzgerald key in order to assign colors to the background. So action words will be green, describing words will be blue, negations are going to be red, those kinds of things. But you can adjust and tweak that as needed. We talked last time about hiding and unhiding buttons, so I'm not going to spend a whole ton of time on the specific edits that are available because we did go through some of those last time. But if you want to edit a board, come in, peruse, and touch the things, search stuff, and get to know how it all works. You know, search some of the different image libraries and see what kinds of things are in there. If there are choices that you really like or that will work well for a particular communicator, you can adjust and choose what kind of things might be a good fit for their specific needs. And along that line, trying to find the needs of a particular communicator, one other thing that I'd like to show you real quick is that this summer, CoughDrop actually added an evaluation tool. So if you come into the account page of anybody's account that you supervisor your own account, you can hit this tool to run a specific evaluation, and the program will walk you through an AAC evaluation for a particular student. So it'll give you some instructions, and then you can work with the student to kind of hit some targets, see what size button works best for a particular student, or if a particular kind of image works best for them, if a background color is best for them. So we're just going to start into this, and the program will walk you through some options. As the student is successful, it will advance and move into things that are a little bit more complex to see how well can a student do at any particular piece of this. You can adjust some of the settings within the eval. So maybe you don't want to find a cat, maybe you want to find, I don't know, whatever else, a truck, an airplane, whatever thing might work better for a student. You can give a name or a title to, hold on, let me move this menu out of the way. You can, I can't find the cat, just a second, and I will. You can give a title to your particular evaluation so that you can see, you can remember which piece it was for. Oh, this was for Susan. Okay, this is Susan's evaluation. That sounds great. We're just going to exit this one, and I'll go to, we're going to abort this. Thank you very much. Later on, you can come back under the logs and view any of the evaluations that have taken place. So this is an evaluation I did with somebody on the 27th. It was not a real person. Don't think I'm compromising anybody's information, but I can come and click on their information, and the program will show you what went on within that evaluation. So it shows you where things were hit correctly, which things were failed, kind of the grid size that was best for that particular person. This piece happens to be nice because if all the failures happen to be in one section, then maybe you know something's going on over there. Let's check it out and see what's happening as that part is going on. There's just some basic information about what went on during that evaluation to help you make determinations about what might be best for a particular communicator and how to set up their speech boards. How many buttons do you need? What type of graphics might be best? Just a lot of those kind of foundational items that can help you to be able to get what you're looking for as you try to support and help these particular communicators. Okay. Let's look. Sorry, I'm moving this little menu out of the way. It doesn't want to go. Yes, go on. Okay, there we go. All right, so within the program, obviously you can make a copy of a board that exists. You can share a board like we talked about. If you have one board that needs to be shared between multiple users, that's great. That might be a great way to, sometimes we see that for things like a particular class setting that a teacher has a favorite board that they want to use, but they want everybody to be able to access it. So they only have to make the board one time, share it with everybody, and then everyone can access that particular speech board. So that's sometimes a good option for communicators. Oh, I missed this question. Sorry. When you are in the sidebar, where are you clicking to get back to the main board? Great question. Let's head into speak mode and we'll look at it. Okay, so when you're in speak mode, whoever you're in speak mode for, the sidebar will, by default, will kind of hide in this top corner. Now you can set up your sidebar so that it pins to the side of your speak mode session so that it's always available there if that's what you'd like to do. When I choose something from the sidebar, let's go to this great jokes board. Here we go. And we'll tell a joke and then yay. Okay, so here is a jokes board. That's awesome. We've told some jokes and we're gonna spend some time here. You'll notice that in this home button, this button will take you back to your home page for whoever's account you're using it at that particular time. But you see this little lock icon that's here. That tells me that this board is currently set as a temporary home board, meaning that the program is going to stay here on this board until I specifically tell it to go somewhere else. So we could sit and tell jokes all day long. I don't know. Okay, so there you go. So you can tell jokes and push a bunch of buttons, and the program's going to stay here until you specifically tell it, all right, I'm done now. Let's go back to my home board. So then I can come to my home board and I can make whatever selections and things that I want. Maybe I want to now go speak Spanish on a little bit. You can see this board is not set as a temporary home board. So once I make a selection on this board, the program's going to take me straight back to my regular home board. Now you probably noticed that that Carrera was not the most fabulous vocalization. The voice set on this particular account happens to be an English voice. If I want to constantly be in Spanish, then I'm going to want to choose a Spanish voice. CoughDrop does actually have an option to move back and forth between different speech boards that have been translated into other languages. So let me think. I got to think of a board that I've got that has multiple languages. Let me think.
Just fine.
I can't remember one that has multiple languages right now, but there,
We didn't even go outside. That says a lot.
So let's go to the suggested, and I'm pretty sure I have this guy translated into some other languages as well. Sorry, we're being a little bit slow to load here. Yeah, this board I have translated into English and German, it looks like. So we're going to go to my copy of this board. And let's go to speak mode. And then we're going to...
I'd like new chairs.
Just kidding, mine isn't translated into other languages. I was wrong. Well, anyway, if you have translated a board into another language, let's go to the original there. And let's go to speak mode for this guy. There we are. And I'm going to tell the board that I want to switch languages. And I can choose maybe the German one. Let's switch to German.
Explaining what it is, and then, you know, be like, oh, but there's also... This is what let me see what I...
And that'll let you adjust and speak in some different languages. It sounds like we might have somebody with their microphone on. Did you have a question? No? Okay. Anyway, so you can move back and forth between the different languages. So you can hear that this particular voice is a German voice. And then when we come back to switch languages into a different language, we're going to pick English, switch language, and it goes right back to the English version. So if you've translated the board into multiple languages, you can move back and forth pretty easily between the different language options that are within the program. Okay, any other questions? Does anybody else have a question before we move into other things? And sidebar question, did we, boy, I guess we didn't really address that super great. Let's go back in real quick to speak mode. So if you're in speak mode, you can make selections from your sidebar and then move back to your home board as you deem appropriate. So this particular board happens to be a temporary home board. So we're going to stay on this board as we make selections until I choose to go back to my regular home board. So I hope that kind of makes sense there. And then we can always, I showed you how this was hidden before. We pinned it in place, but I can hide it again if I need it, so that if I don't want it to be displayed all the time, that's an option. You can actually get rid of a sidebar as well. If you don't want the sidebar to exist on your account, you're welcome to just remove that from your account entirely. Anytime you want to make adjustments or changes to your account or to the account of a student you supervise, the place you'll want to probably do that is on the preferences page. There's a ton of stuff in here, but you feel free to come in and peruse, get to know what's there. And then if you have questions about how do I find this, don't spend forever searching. Just send us an email. We're happy to help. I mean, you can spend forever searching if you like, but I wouldn't. Just let us know and we'll help you find whatever it is. If you need to make adjustments for your communicators account, so if maybe you want them to enter the program in scanning mode so that the program will go through line by line and they can make selections or column by column, however they want to do it. You can adjust their specific preferences by first coming to their account page and then selecting preferences from the side. You'll know whose preferences page you're on because their information will be displayed in the top left. So this particular account happens to be Albert's account. So whatever I change here is going to affect his account only. It's not going to affect my specific account. If I was to make changes to my account, you'll see my account information is up there in the top right corner. So that just kind of helps you keep track of where you are and what's going on. On an account page, it's the same way. That if you're on your account page, it's going to show the account that you're looking at right here. So if I wanted to come to one of my supervisors account or supervisees account, let's look at you, Mia. We can come to Mia's account and the program will display information for Mia. Just kidding. Why are you not moving? Oh, we're syncing. There we go. So let's go to Mia's account. There we go. So we can come into Mia's account and see the boards that she's got, the information about her account. And we know we're on her account because her information is showed at the top. Same thing, we can come to her preferences page to make adjustments for her page, but that's still displayed. Her information is still showing in the top corner of that account page so that you know whose account you're working with and what you need to do to make those adjustments within the account. Okay, so we talked a little bit about having an organization last time, and there are several of you that will be listed as administrators or people on the organization to be able to make adjustments. You will have a little paperclip icon on your account once we get that updated, and then you'll be able to enter an organization for your particular group. We've been through this one last time a little bit, so I don't want to spend a whole ton of time on it, but just know that you'll be able to access your account, and especially as you're a manager, you'll be able to update supervisors and communicators and link people together as needed. And if you need more information about that, just let us know. We have plenty of support tools and we're happy to help you any way that we can as you get going on that. But if you are linked as one of the managers for your organization, look for that little little paperclip icon right there. That'll help you get into your specific, your group so that you can manage that. Okay, one last thing real quick, and then we'll end things so that you guys can head off and go into your lives and do exciting things this afternoon. One other thing you may want to do is, of course, create a new board from scratch. Anytime you need to do that, you can hit that create board button. Give your board a name. We'll do things at school. If you are linked as a supervisor for an account, you can choose whether you're going to make the account for yourself or whether you're going to make it for someone else. We're going to make an account for this practice one account, or a board for this practice one account. You can quickly decide how many buttons you'd like on that particular board just by moving things around a little bit, and decide, do you want this board to be private or public? In general, you're probably going to want to choose private, especially if there's any personal information on the board. But you can make a public board if you have something that you're regularly going to be wanting to share with a group, or that, I don't know, maybe you just love botany and you want to have all the plants and you want other people to see that too, then go for it. Create those public boards and share them. Anyway, set the size of your board, and then you can jump in and start to edit. Oh, hold on, let's look at the chat real quick. I don't specifically know if there are any for physical therapy with gross motor activities right now, but you could definitely jump in and do a search and see what you could find. There are definitely some therapy related boards, but I'm not sure shared publicly if there are a lot of those, but we could definitely have you search once you get into your CoughDrop account and see what you can find in there. That'd be a great thing to have available. Okay, so as you come into creating a speech board, oh, go ahead. one more question. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're welcome. You bet. I do appreciate the questions because I want you guys to have the information that you need. I want you to feel like you've got the tools that will help you to be successful as you work with these communicators. We want to make this part as easy as possible for you. We don't want the creating of things or managing the account to be the part that's going to take a lot of your time, because your time is much better spent with students. That's where we'd rather you're able to focus. So if we can help you get things done quickly or easily, that's what we want to do. Anyway, okay, so I forgot what we called this board, something about school. So let's say we want to have a desk and we want paper and we want a pencil. So as I'm putting in these labels for each of these buttons, the program will automatically pick a graphic from my selected image library and add it. Now I'm not stuck with these. I don't like, this is dogs. I don't know why in the world dogs came up under a search for paper, but I can come and do another search and find something else that I like better. That looks a little more paper-like than the dogs are. So you can pick something that works better for your needs. As you tab from button to button, the program will try to select an image that might work for you, but you're not stuck with those. Again, I don't know what this is, but that looks ridiculous. I definitely don't want whatever that is for chair. So let's go. Oh, that's a nice looking chair. That looks soft. Let's take that guy. So you can adjust and tweak those as you need. Are we able to make boards with short video snippets or moving graphics? Great question. Absolutely. You can link these speech buttons to YouTube videos, or you can actually use a GIF as a graphic. We do have one Gif library that's available. It's a sign language Gif library that you can search from. And yeah, I just probably don't want to do that. Let's see what we have available. So in this particular image library, I can choose an image. Nope, that doesn't say hello. So we'll go back to the list, see what else you've got. I don't know why that's coming out. Oh, there we go. Oh, say hi, I love you. Sure, that sounds great. All right, so maybe we want to use this particular image and let's say use this. We'll close that, and then that's going to be what's on this particular speech button. Let's change that. So if you have a graphic that you'd like to use, if you have a file, like a little video file that you want to turn into a GIF, it will automatically behave like this. Or if you add a button like to a YouTube video or a video clip that's saved somewhere else, the program will pull up like a little pop-up window, and then it will play that piece as you move ahead. So I'm just going to save this. Oh, oops, just kidding. I exited sharing. That was not what I meant to do. So there we go. All right, so let's try this one more time, and we're gonna save you. And I know that there is an animal sounds board that has a little video on it. So let me see if I can find that real quick. So this is our animal sounds, yes. And the giraffe button here, let's go into speak mode. Sorry, I'm gonna move this menu. Hold on one second. The fun of Zoom. Okay, so this particular board just happens to make some sounds for the animals, but on giraffe, I couldn't find an audio file specifically for a giraffe. So we have a little video that will show a giraffe, and I guess what a giraffe sounds like. There you go. So you can add little pop-ups like that that will be linked to a speech button to help you be able to, maybe you do favorites, maybe you do learning videos. How long can the videos be? Because they are linked, these ones that are linked outside of CoughDrop, they can be pretty much as long as you want. So I have some that will link to, we have buttons that'll link to like a full length video that's saved on YouTube or something. And pretty much what you're doing is just watching the YouTube video from within CoughDrop, because that's what the button is linked to. So it can kind of go, I mean, I'm sure there's some kind of length limit, but I don't know what it is, and you can watch a full length video. So it goes pretty long. Anyway, I hope that kind of I don't know, I hope it gives you a little view of what CoughDrop can do and maybe gives you some confidence to just jump in and try things and find what's needed for your students and help them be as successful as possible. You know, get creative, think through what do they need, what's going to be best for them, and we can help you try to do it. So I'm going to stop that share and we'll just jump back in here. Does anybody else have any questions or things before we close today? And if not, that's totally okay. Sometimes it's a little bit overwhelming to get all this tons of information thrown at you at once. So feel free. I would really strongly suggest that you create an account and then just jump in and push everything and try everything and get to know the program. You're not going to break something. You're not going to cause a problem. And if you do, we'll help you fix it. Or maybe we'll hire you. If you're really great at it, then, you know, maybe we want to be able to know the things you know. So that'd be great. But don't be afraid of it. Yeah, go ahead.
This is Barb Riley. I'm the PT. So then once I get my account set up and then I download the program, then I'll talk to one of the speechies about linking me to, I guess,
the organization. Yes.
To the organization. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
As soon as you've got a username, as soon as you've created an account, then they can link you into that organization and start to pair you up with whatever students you need to be working with.
And we haven't figured out yet how we're doing that. I think we're going to use our school address, or I don't know, or people are going to be able to pick their own. We just have to set up the organization first, and then we can send out that email to let everybody know what to do next.
Right.
That's fine. I just, wanted the concept, so I've got it. Y'all can let me know when you're ready.
It's good. It's good to have vision, know where we're headed. That's a good thing. Anybody else have any questions or concerns?
Question. I'll just put this out here, and if I need to speak with you, if I need to talk to you through email, I can do that. Back in the spring, at the height of the pandemic, and I was using my fingerprint to buy all kinds of things on Amazon and such, I purchased CoughDrop. I have the full license for myself. Okay. So is it possible for me to go through, since I own that license, is it possible for me to log in as a communicator, as a supervisor, as a manager?
You bet. You bet. You know what? Let me share my screen with you real quick, because there is one change that one thing you have to do a little bit differently depending on which way you're logged in. So I showed you when you first create an account that you want to choose whether you're a communicator or a supervisor. Here where it says dashboard, this is where I can make a choice whether I want my account to be set as a communicator account or as a supporter account. And depending on what I choose, this will change the way that the program kind of functions. So right now my account is set as a therapist account. It gives me that communicators option so that I can see the students that I've linked to to support them and encourage them and help them through things. It lets me access their information as needed and stuff like that. If I come and change my account to the communicator view and then save my preferences at the bottom of the page, that's another thing to be aware of. If you change anything on your preferences page, make sure that you save that. Now, if I come back to my dashboard page, you're going to see that I don't have that communicator option up there anymore, because I'm now functioning as a communicator, not as a supervisor. You'll notice that I have a couple of different options that are here than were before. It just changes the way that the program allows you to function. So when you're logged in as a communicator, you'll have some access to some premium features like premium voices. I can't think of all the things right now, of course, because I'm trying to tell you, but it just makes a minor tweak in the way the program is laid out. So if you happen to be logged in as a communicator and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to reach my students, they're not on here, what am I going to do? No problem. Just come right back to your preferences page, adjust that to the therapist type account, and then save the preferences. Some people like to be able to see exactly what their communicator is going to be able to see. And that's why we make it possible for you to kind of switch back and forth between those if you need to. But as soon as you change that again, I'm right back to being able to access my communicators and be able to see the things that I need to on their page. Let me pull up the chat. It looks like there's one more question. Can a student change from a communicator to a supervisor? Yes, they can, but if they're not connected to an organization or something as a supervisor, it's just going to tell you there's nothing for you to see here. It's going to essentially display as a communicator account because they don't have access to they're not linked as a supervisor to any other students. They're not connected to a group or an organization as a supervisor. So if those permissions haven't been set up before, they can change that if they want, but it's not really going to make a difference within their account. I hope that kind of makes sense.
One of the things you mentioned, I think it was maybe with the sidebar thing, and you talked about a specific board. And one of the things that we've talked about as a group is having some method, universal method of communication for the playground areas. And my thought when you said that was the playground recess sort of uniqueness may be a good sideboard.
So we have obviously no one is required to use any of the boards that I'm showing you today. So don't feel like I'm trying to push you. Let's see, I think it's called Playground. We have a board set that has some options depending that kind of, it might be, is it Places? I can't remember what it's called. Well, there's this one at the playground, that'll work. So, oh, come on, open. So these are some of the options that are in there. Now, don't feel like I'm saying this is what you need to do, but that is the exact purpose of a board like this. You could add it to a sidebar and then be able to talk about some of the things that you're doing on a playground. So there are some basic words, but we also try to add some full phrases. Now, normally we strongly encourage core vocabulary and we want people to be able to craft and compose their phrases. But when you're in some of these quick conversational settings, sometimes it can be hard to have to go find each an individual word. And we also want to encourage those connections, those social interactions. So sometimes it's a good idea to have a few quickly accessible phrases. And that's what this particular board is about. But something like that might be a good option, absolutely, to add to the sidebars of some of those communicators so that they can access whatever it is that they're doing, whether it's at the playground. Maybe you want to have a board for interactions at the hospital because maybe they end up in the hospital a lot. Maybe they have a favorite, maybe a cafeteria board. Maybe you have specific boards or buttons that you want to be able to access when you're in the cafeteria. Some of those things might be a great option to add to the sidebar. So they're quickly accessible, but they're not disrupting your regular board set, the flow of your normal board set. They're kind of off on their own. So yeah, that's a great idea or a great suggestion. Anybody else? No? Okay, well, thank you again for another Thursday afternoon spending with me and getting to know CoughDrop a little bit. It's always fun to sort of meet people in person, kind of. It's a lot funner than email, although I love email too. So feel free, if you guys ever have questions, feel free to reach out to me. My name is Melissa and my email address is really tough. It's melissa@coughdrop.com. So anytime you have questions, let me know. I'm more than happy to help, and we'll make sure that we get you the resources that you need so that you can take care of these kiddos, because isn't that what we're all about, is helping these kids be able to make the connections that they need to be successful and to advance and grow and become their best selves. That's what we all hope for, I think. So anyway, have a great afternoon, and I will talk to you guys later if needed, but otherwise, good luck. You're going to be awesome. I totally believe in you.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everybody.
You too.
Thank you.